all angel signs carry a message, and most of those messages are going to be unique and personal messages that are meant for you at that precise moment in your life. But how do you figure out what that message is? Today, I'm going to show you how to discover and clearly understand what different symbols and signs that appear in your life mean to you, and only you. And I don't mean how to find generic meanings and messages. I'm going to show you a discovery process that you can use to get much deeper and more precise meanings to the messages and signs that the angels may ever send you. And what is really exciting is that as you do this, you will be forming a unique and personal message between just you and your angels and spiritual guides that will help you communicate and clearly understand them anytime you need. So today I'm going to help you get to the underlying meaning that is unique and personal to you for any angel sign or message that you might see. But what do I mean by personal and unique? So I'm going to use Lucy as an example. I've been talking to Lucy for a couple of months now. She's been extremely inspirational. In fact, she is the one who gave me the idea for this video, because she wrote to me and said that she often sees a bow or bows, and she's not really sure what that means or how she can get to the meaning of what this bow means. Though she knows that it's an angel sign, she can feel it and she's trusting that, but she can't quite figure out how to get to the message that's behind this sign. So now Lucy is not likely going to be able to look it up on Google and find spiritual symbolism for what a bow is. And even if she is, she's probably not going to find a very satisfying answer. Because if she does find an answer, it's just not going to be very fulfilling because it's general and it's just meant for the symbolism of a bow and what that might mean to all of us. But it's not getting at that deeper message that she can feel is there for her from the angels. It's really a lot like angel numbers. You can look up the meaning and messages of angel numbers all day long. Although it's based in numerology, you are often going to be left feeling like you just don't have the answers that you know that you can sense are there. So here's another question that Lucy sent me. She said, I thought I'd just bring up another unusual sign I receive very regularly and have had for some time. It's the cartoon image of Mickey Mouse. It comes to me in the most unusual and irregular way. Too long to explain. And then she goes on to say, it always leaves me feeling happy, but a bit puzzled. Wonder if you have heard anything similar. And yes, I have seen, heard, and experienced these types of signs many times. And usually it's the most profound signs that have the most significant messages that do appear to us like this. You know, they carry a message, you can feel it, yet when you try to look up what it means, you find nothing, or maybe some basic symbolism that you can't quite figure out how that applies to you. You know, or maybe you have been seeing signs for a while now, and that the symbolism and meaning that used to be so helpful and useful to you is starting to feel incomplete or lacking in some way, because you've gone beyond that in your spiritual development. So you know there's just so much more to these messages and what they can mean and offer you along your path. So what we want to know is how do you get to that deeper and more personal message of any sign you see, no matter what it is. Angels will use these kinds of signs because they are special to you. They carry a meaning that relates to the message that they have for you. Humans just sometimes, it's just going to happen that humans are going to get their signs and their messages wrong. They're going to misinterpret these things, especially for those who are just starting out and have yet to really be able to distinguish between and understand the difference between their ego and that inner wisdom and their intuition, and you know, how to block the right things out and which things to listen to. Because we have this human side and we have this ego that often will talk us out of our messages even. So it gets in the way of clearly understanding and interpreting our signs. We all know that recognizing and cutting out that ego voice comes with a lot of practice and experience. So angels use our psychology, your brain, your perception, your awareness, your associations, and your understanding of life and the world to communicate with you. It is like they can tap into and connect and work with your human side rather than working against it. And this discovery process that I'm going to show you here in just a minute is how you basically do that same thing. To use your human side to connect with and understand the spiritual rather than working against it or trying to resist it. So just remember that this is a process. There's no instant gratification here. When it comes to figuring out your messages, sometimes it takes time to unfold until you're ready to receive the answers. So there's no hurry here. Use the tips that I talked about in the last video, such as not forcing the answers and just letting them flow. Don't try to force them to come because that encourages your ego to get in the way. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link to it right up here so you can check that out. So the effort that you're going to put into understanding these signs is absolutely worth it, and it will strengthen your communication and your connection with the angels. So make sure you are open, ready, and willing to understand, and take your time with it. So first of all, make sure that you are always thanking your angels often. Gratitude is going to make all of this work much faster and much easier. I like to say, thank you, angels, for your guidance today. And thank you for allowing me to see, know, hear, and understand everything it is that I need to know. And then you want to visualize what your intention is. Be clear with your intention. You're going into this process to figure out what this sign means, what it means specifically to you, and what your angels want you to know when you see this sign. So be clear with that intention for yourself and putting that out into the universe. And then you also want to try to get your ego out of the way and tap into your higher self. And now we begin what I call the discovery process. And this is where you're going to focus on the sign and kind of brainstorm until you come up with an answer. So since I personally can relate so much to Lucy's previous example about Mickey Mouse, that is what I'm going to use as an example. But remember, you can use this method to get to the unique message and meaning of any sign, symbol, angel number, or anything at all. So you're going to think of the sign or the symbol that you have been seeing. And you're going to pay attention to what thoughts and what feelings that you've had when you've seen this sign in the past, or, if you're taking notes and the process of it, just pay attention to those thoughts and feelings that you have when you see the sign. Because those thoughts and feelings are clues, if not even direct answers to what the message is. Remember, angels primarily use our thoughts and our feelings to communicate with us. So it's so important that you listen and pay attention to those thoughts and those feelings that come up. And use your intuition to guide you to what exactly is coming from your angels and what may be coming from your ego as you're listening to these thoughts and feelings. But what is most important here, and what we're going to focus on for this discovery process, is what role the actual item plays in your life. My examples here are going to be short and quick, but what I really want you to do is take your time and really think about each of these steps and really put some effort into it, and do it more than once if you need to, until you come up with a satisfying answer that you can just feel with that intuition is correct. The first step is to come up with your associations and memories. So I'm going to start with my associations of Mickey Mouse because that's my example. So you'll meditate, reflect, delve deep into your past, and think of any associations, experiences, or ideas that come up for you around this sign that you're seeing. So once again, you're focusing on memories, feelings, associations thoughts and anything that stands out to you about the object. So for me, with Mickey Mouse, he was always a special interest of mine as a kid and all through college. Another thing about Mickey Mouse was it reminds me of when I was a teenager and we went to Disneyland. And my first tattoo was of Mickey Mouse. I love this character so much that my very first tattoo was of Mickey Mouse. So next you're gonna ask yourself why for the first question. Why do you have these associations? Why do you have these memories? Why do they stand out to you? So for me, why was Mickey Mouse a special interest for me? Why did I love this cartoon character so much? And why did I love him so much that I chose to get him permanently etched into my body? So this step will take just a bit more thinking, and I'm gonna write it down so you can kind of see how I do this. So Mickey Mouse for me was very relatable. He's nice and kind of shy. That's how I often was as a kid. He's also really cute and cuddly because, he's really cute and cuddly because he's based off a cute little mouse, and mice are really cute. Have you ever noticed how cute those things are? And another thing was that Mickey Mouse was often misunderstood in his cartoons. A lot of the times people were just not understanding what Mickey Mouse was all about. So, misunderstood. So I've written those down because that helps me process. And like I said, this is just really short and quick just to give you an example. So now that I have these things, this is why the character was so important to me. So now that I have these things, I want to go to the underlying feelings and thoughts. I don't know if you can see that. The underlying feelings and thoughts that I have around these reasons why. So with this one, I found him relatable because Mickey was shy and he tried to be nice to everyone. He was kind of timid and he was sweet. Those were things that I, as a kid, actually got in trouble for a lot and people didn't like. So Mickey Mouse felt very relatable to me as somebody who understood me, something I didn't get from the people in my life at that time. So he was also cute and cuddly. So, that was a sense of comfort. Right, comfort and familiarity. I have no idea what I'm writing. It was comfort and familiarity, safety. And once again, that was a feeling I didn't often get from the people in my life when I was a kid, when I was growing up. So I might have my little stuffed animal. I'd come home from school after a bad day at school, and that stuffed animal would be there. He was cute, he was cuddly, he brought me comfort, familiarity, and that sense of safety that I just didn't know where else to get. And his being misunderstood in his cartoons, when it comes to Mickey Mouse, like my favorite episode was The Brave Little Tailor. And that's the one where Mickey Mouse is talking about having killed 7 flies with one swat. And they overhear him and think he's talking about giants. So the king or whatever hires him to kill this giant, right? But Mickey Mouse is going into it thinking he's going to get a fly. But is really the giant. And that's like the kind of misunderstandings, but Mickey Mouse would go in and he would persevere. He was always optimistic and unyielding, and he would come through for himself, and he came through for everyone else. He always came through in the end and was successful, and everything was okay. And since Mickey Mouse is so relatable to me in these other areas, that gave me the sense that, I can overcome too. I can be myself and be comfortable in my own skin and still overcome and come through for myself and come through for other people. So to sum all of that up, now I know that when I see Mickey Mouse, I feel comfortable. I feel inner strength. I feel empowerment. I feel love. I feel love for myself and for others. And I feel deserving of love. And I can have a connection to others being exactly who I am. I'm not alone. I'm not entirely alone. I can be myself and I can overcome any challenges or any obstacles that cross my path. And I can do it regardless of any misunderstandings of me or of my intentions. So this is how Mickey Mouse makes me feel. And this is what Mickey Mouse makes me think of. So no doubt, since I just went through this process, he's gonna end up showing up as a sign from my angels at some point in the future, because this is part of that language that you develop between you and your angels. They know what it means to you, and now you've discovered what it means to you as well. So I just intentionally created a sign that my angels can send me when they clearly want me to focus on these feelings that I just mentioned. So if I'm feeling defeated, if I'm feeling discouraged, negative, or not good about myself or who I am, or if I'm feeling alone or lost or overwhelmed by life, the angels can now show me Mickey Mouse. And I know exactly what it means and what they're telling me. So seriously, how awesome is it that the angels can use these human experiences and aspects to communicate with us on such a deep and unique level? So try this the next time that you see a sign. And if you do, make sure you let me know how it goes down in the comments. Connecting and communicating with the angels is awesome on so many levels. And interestingly enough, it is not as difficult as it seems. And that is my goal, to help people who feel like ordinary people with everyday problems and struggles to communicate with their angels in the same way that any spiritual master can. And that is because you deserve it. It's your spiritual right, and you can do it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to leave a like. And if you're interested in more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And also check out my books and my blog. I will leave links to all of that down in the description below. And as always, I am sending a ton of love and blessings to you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.